FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and well, you've watched what's happened to the stock market over the past couple of weeks. Funny thing happened. Companies involved in mining, they got slammed, a lot of them, but not all of them. And I want to introduce you to a company and a CEO who has a very unique story to tell. And in the interest of full disclosure, I am a shareholder of this company, and I'm really excited about being one. And even if last week hadn't happened, I would still be as excited as I am now. And the company is Aurcana Corporation. You spell it Aurcana Corporation. The stock, it's traded on the TSX Venture under the symbol AUN. To find more information and make sure you go there to the company's website, it's www.aurcana.com for the risk of repeating myself. And make sure you sign up for the notifications because I expect there's going to be news coming in the not too distant future. Anyway, with me now is Kevin Drover. And Kevin, you've got more than 40 years of domestic and international mining operating experience. Really great to have you on the show. You're the guy who, when all the management goes home and I want to find out what really happened, I go talk to you because you started out literally at the bottom of the mine and you worked your way up to the CEO of a mining company. So you're rather unique in the perspective of modern day mining management.
Yes, I guess that's probably true. I started out at the very bottom of the mining industry in the 70s and worked my way, came up through the ranks. And, as you go through that type of thing, which is rather difficult to do these days, I sort of hit the mining world at the kind of the right time when you could do that. I'm not sure it's doable very much so today. But I managed to work my way up through the ranks all the way up to CEO and chairman of the board. So, but lots of experience, in the mining sphere, a lot in mineral processing itself, worked in various capacities, in various types of the industry, copper, lead, zinc, gold, silver, the usual types of things. And sort of the last 15, 20 years have been in senior management.
So you've kind of got a different perspective than many would, where a lot of executives are looking at the balance sheet, obviously, looking at the financial picture, and then looking at the project itself. But you're kind of looking at it from everybody's standpoint there, from the lowliest person to the executive office when you're figuring out programs, when you're figuring out what to do next, actions. You got a holistic perspective on this.
Well, I certainly try to have that holistic, perspective on it because there's a lot of moving parts in any mining project kind of thing, and you need to be able to understand, I think, the various components of that. The planning is really important in this, and there's a lot of moving pieces in that, and executing your plan is where the rubber meets the road on this thing. So you need to get focused, especially where we are with the Aurcana, the Revenue-Virginius project, where it's essentially fully built, it's fully permitted, bankable feasibility study done on it. So at this stage of the game, it's raise the debt piece that we need, and then go execute the plan and get this thing into production.
Yeah. So the project, the Revenue-Virginius mine, that's been around a long time, hasn't it?
It's been around a very long time, as a matter of fact. It started up in the mid-1880s and ran continuously for approximately 36 years. They had some problems at the time. It was owned by the A.J. Reynolds family, the tinfoil family, and it was owned by A.J. Reynolds all the way up, I believe, to 2013. But they had a mishap in, I believe it was 1916, either 1912 or 1916, where there was an avalanche came down, the mill caught fire, it burned. They didn't restart or rebuild the mill. They decided to focus on gold properties that they had at the time rather than silver. Silver apparently was the price was lower, probably like it is today.
Yeah.
So it lay dormant until I think it was 2013 when Star Mining bought it, subsequently went to Fortune Minerals. And then in 2018, late 2018 in December, Aurcana bought it from Lascaux Resource Capital.
And we should talk about the ore grade there, which is nothing short of amazing. It's probably the highest grade in the world, and Aurcana is one of the very few pure silver plays in the world.
Yeah, we're blessed to have this kind of grade, and the grade is, mill head grade anticipated as per the feasibility study of approximately 37 ounces per ton equivalent silver grade delivered to the mill. We do have some gold, some lead, and zinc. There is some copper in some parts of the ore body, but we're not going to be recovering that. We will recover the zinc and the lead and the gold. But generally, the Revenue-Virginius mine, if you look at it from a revenue perspective, silver makes up about 71% of the revenue. So it's certainly a primary silver mine. Gold makes up a little bit, about 8%, I think. Zinc, lead about 15%, and the remainder is zinc. We also have the Shafter mine in Texas, which has a 1,500 ton a day mill, fully permitted as well. It's at a PEA level, so it's not quite ready to do anything with it just yet, but it is a development project that we'd look at somewhere down the road. It's a pure silver project, no byproduct credits, but it certainly will be a mine at some point in time in the future.
Yeah, now your all-in sustaining costs here are extraordinarily low, primarily because of your ore grade is so high.
That's correct. Our all-in sustaining cost is $8 per ounce on a pure silver basis. So even at the $12 that silver hit, last week kind of thing, we would still have been profitable at that, where I think there's a lot of companies out there right now that, have all-in sustaining costs of somewhere between $15 and $25. So we look pretty good by comparison.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the great things is your proven and probable reserves really looking good. The mine life, people might be a little concerned about what's in the feasibility study, but the reality is, in all likelihood, this thing's going to go on. It was mined for so many years. It's probably going to last a lot longer.
Well, that's exactly right. This is a narrow vein mine. Narrow vein mines tend to have, low reserve periods or quantities in front of them. For instance, I used to work for Dome Mines years ago, and Dome was a narrow vein mine up in the Timmins area, and it carried only 2 years of reserves in front of it for 120 years. So, that's the kind of mine that we've got. Typically in the region where we are down in Colorado, in the San Juan Mountains, there's mines down there that are around well over 100 years, same kind of mine that we have. So, our proven and probable reserve right now is about 21 million ounces at 37 ounces per ton. It's a 6.5 year mine life. But the upside on the exploration here is just absolutely phenomenal. We're very excited about the potential that we do have here. We have 9 veins. We have reserves on about I think there's 3 of them, and most of our reserves are located on just one vein, which is the on the Virginius vein, and that vein is approximately 18,000 feet. That we can trace on surface, and it does go undercover kind of thing. But our reserves are pretty much contained on about 4,000 feet of that 18,000 feet. Wow. So along strike, we've got a tremendous amount of upside potential, not just on the Virginius vein, but also on the Yellow Rose, the Wheel of Fortune, and Cumberland. And we own all of these.
Oh, that's amazing. And mining narrow veins really requires a lot of expertise, doesn't it?
It does, and we certainly make no bones about that, we're going to need good people. This is a very manual operation, hard to mechanize. So we need good miners, and we've been very, very fortunate. We've been able to attract some really good miners. We have a crew now. We're bringing more on this week, and we are getting applications from some very, very high quality people here. We basically need about 16 miner ones. Miner one would be your most experienced miner in this type of mining that we do, which is it's jackleg, stoper, so a lot of manual labor kind of thing. And there's guys out there that they move around the U.S. and Canada and things like that, but they are available. The Ouray area, where our mine is located, is a destination. It is a super great place to live. It's kind of the Switzerland of North America, mountainous, lots of outdoor activity, and people like that. So we've been very blessed, I guess, to put it that way. Anyhow, in terms of people coming to us saying we'd like to work at your mine when you're ready to go. So we feel really confident that we're going to be able to get the quality of the people that we need here.
And then let's talk about your mill. So your mill is state-of-the-art, newly manufactured, and it's underground.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a flotation mill. It has crushing, grinding, 2 stages of grinding, two stages of crushing, flotation, a copper. We have a copper, lead, zinc flotation circuit. The silver comes with the lead, very small amount of silver in the zinc concentrate. We won't make a copper concentrate at this time, but we do have the circuit in the mill if we chose to do that and if the grade became high enough in some of the mining areas. The mill is designed right around 500 tons a day. Our feasibility study is designed for 270 tons a day. So we have considerable upside potential for the future when we decide to increase our mining rate. We really won't have to spend that much capital to significantly increase the production through the mill.
Really interesting. What do you think your biggest challenge has been bringing this online?
It's when we did the deal and brought this into Aurcana, it was at a time of a disinterest in the metals complex, precious and even base metals to some degree. So it was considerable difficulty in sort of the first 7 months of 2019 when we were out trying to raise our capital and the debt and the equity pieces and whatnot. And then in August of 2019, things turned a little bit. We were able to get an equity raise done in September, and we did another equity raise in, I think we completed it on the 2nd of March of this year, and we brought almost $15 million into the company. We need about $37 million in total to put the project back into production. So we've raised our equity component of that. So now we're looking for $30 million of debt to do the final push to production. And it, making no bones about it, it was difficult to find that up till sort of recently, within the last 6 months kind of thing. But that's been a challenge, is finding that capital required to put ourselves into production. Even given the fact that this is probably the lowest cost, one of the lowest cost mines around, and certainly one of the highest grade mines in the world, if not the highest grade. But I'm way more optimistic now that the not for the mess the world is in. That's sort of a different thing at this stage. But nonetheless, we're very optimistic that we're going to be able to find the $30 million that we need to go to production. The COVID-19 is certainly not helping the cause, given the state of the world and whatnot right now. But we've been fortunate in that there are a number of groups that are interested and in fact are looking at our technical information and whatnot as we speak right now. So I'm very hopeful. Our target is to get ourselves financed by the end of June. And that would give us the capability of being very close to production this year.
It's pretty remarkable because all your skill sets, from working the lowliest job in the mine to the executive suite, and the thing that occupies you most, it seems like the operations of the mine, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to bring about. Once you hit the magic number, you're basically off to the races. But getting to that point and actually getting the market to understand the company and what's involved, that seems to have been your biggest challenge.
That's exactly right. We've got a fantastic team. We've got a full management team down at the site. I'm moving down to the site just as visas and everything are pretty much in place in anticipation of us, beginning to execute on the restart. But our management team is top notch. It's a full team. We've got all the elements there. We just hired a new general manager, a guy by the name of Mike Lee, who's got some gray hair, and he's been around. Good narrow vein mining guy. Worked at Coeur d'Alene Mines, at Sarco, at Galena, and places like that over the years. So we're really blessed in terms of we've been able to attract some really good people. The other side of this has been the planning or the feasibility study that was done. And Lascaux Resource Capital, who owned this and who actually did the work on the feasibility study. SRK actually, did the feasibility study for them, but they did some really, really good work on this project to get it to the point where it is. And, everything from a technical perspective, there's nothing left here to be done from a technical perspective. It's all done. All we need is the funding to just say, hey, guys, go. And we're off and running. So our focus is going to be, we'll complete the debt facility and get our funding in the door. And then all our focus, including mine, is going to be on getting this thing up and running and getting it profitable.
And obviously you are a hands-on manager. You're actually moving to be close to the mine, to oversee everything personally. And that gives me as a shareholder a really good feeling because you're involved. You've got a substantial part of your personal assets wrapped up in this company, and you're not going to, this isn't a lifestyle concern. This is an actual mining company that is going to take metal out of the ground.
Yeah, absolutely, Kerry. I put a fair chunk of money in this thing, and so I have a very vested interest in it, as a lot of people do. Virtually, if you look at between the board, Lascaux, collectively we own almost 50% of the company. So that's a lot of alignment with our shareholders, and my focus is going to be to make money for our shareholders, and which I am one. So that is certainly the focus. Is we're going to execute on this plan. We're going to execute well. This thing, we should be able to get it into production within 7 months. We should be in positive cash flow within 9 months of ground zero. And from the time we're funded to the time that any debt that we take on is paid back will be about 1.9 years. So that's not from the time we start production. That's from the time that we're funded. So it includes that 7-month pre-production period as well. So it's this is a very near-term project that we can get into production, as I said, in 7 months. And there's not many of those out there right now.
Oh, Lord knows. You're permitted. You got a mill that's literally ready to go. It's been on care and maintenance since it was built. very little production has run through it. And you got this amazing high grade ore, 37 ounces per ton. It sounds like a winning formula. And honestly, when I was considering investing in the company, the thing that really did put me over the edge was when I heard that you personally were going to move there to oversee the operations. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was positively predisposed, but the fact that you're not only investing your money, but you're pretty much investing your life over there. And granted, Colorado, nice lifestyle, but still, you're effectively moving to be by the factory, and that's something that I personally, as a shareholder, I seldom ever see, and I really do appreciate.
Well, thank you. We certainly believe that this is important. There's a lot of people have put their faith in me. People have given me $15 million of their hard-earned money, and we intend to use that very wisely. It's going into the project. This is not about the CEO lifestyle or anything else. This is about getting the work done that we need to get done. So that's our focus. Is we're here to execute. And whatever we've got to do that, we're going to do it. And, I'm happily moving to Montrose. I live in Vancouver, and, anybody who's been to Vancouver knows that sun shines in the summertime and rains for pretty much 8 months a year. I'm going to a place. This is a step up for me, right? I can get 300 days a year of sunshine in Montrose.
Yeah, that's great. Well, my hat's off to you, because this, especially, you've got so many issues that you have to contend with to successfully build and operate a mine. You were blessed that you had a lot of the issues taken care of when you finally got the company, when you got the project, but you still had a lot of work to do, and you're just about there. You're just in the home stretch. I'm really proud and honored to be on the home stretch with you. And hopefully once it starts producing, then the shareholders will see that their faith in you and in Aurcana was not just justified, but extremely profitable as well. Again, take a look at the company. The website is Aurcana.com, AURCANA.com. You find them. They're trading on the TSX Venture, and the symbol is AUN. And make sure when you go to the website, sign up for the latest notifications. I expect there's going to be a lot of news on this shortly. I'm hopeful anyway, as a shareholder. And Kevin, it's been a total pleasure. Good luck. And I really do look forward to following up with you in a few months, seeing where we're at.
It'll be a pleasure, Kerry. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.